If you're dreaming of a cozy fireplace surround and hearth, but afraid you can't possibly have one because you're on a tight budget or don't know how to use power tools, I am here for you today. I'm going to show you today how to make a simple hearth and fireplace surround without any skill necessary. Let's go. If you love to live an upscale lifestyle on a downsized budget, I am here for you at Skip to My Life. Today's video is a collaboration with two of my YouTube friends, and I will tell you a little bit more about that in just a moment. My husband and I rent an 1,100 square foot home, and this is what we have for a fireplace. Now, it does work just fine, but we have decided not to use it because we didn't want the mess, and we also just don't feel comfortable burning a fireplace with our TV mounted on the wall. So my goal was to create a really pretty backdrop for this room, and I'm doing it in collaboration with two of my friends. This is a high-end dupe. So I took for my inspiration this fireplace hearth, which is mainly made of marble, and I just knew that we could recreate it for really pennies on the dollar. As you can see, the shape is basically a box, and so I knew that if we had several large boxes, we could definitely recreate this fireplace. Now, I do not use a lot of power tools. I can, but I choose not to. And so what I used for this project was two large size boxes, as well as an X-Acto knife, duct tape, and some other items, which I'm going to show you shortly. To begin, I cut both of those boxes in half on the lengthwise grain, and Bella is my long-haired dachshund puppy, and you will see that she just could not resist helping me throughout this process. So I started by duct taping everything firmly together, including the corners of those boxes, just to provide a little bit more stability. Next, we need to reinforce those frames, and I am using 5 of these yardsticks from the hardware store. They were a little over $1. I started by measuring out the length of that frame and then cutting with this tiny little hacksaw I purchased from Dollar Tree. Now, I don't often use this thing, but for projects like this, it is really, really perfect. So then I just glue gun and also use my E6000 to reinforce that cardboard box. I ended up with 5 yardsticks per box. If you're new to Skip to My Life, a great big welcome. I hope you're enjoying this, and if you are, let me know by clicking that like thumbs up button. So now we've created the frames for the sides of our fireplace hearth, and now we're going to create the top beam. So I needed a little bit of help from my husband to get those 2 boxes to join together. I glue gunned and E6000 them in the middle, and then he helped me stretch that duct tape firmly around the box. Now I'll reinforce the top of the support beam by using some signs from Dollar Tree. Now this is very inexpensive particle board, but it works really nicely for projects like this. So I just happen to have a lot of these signs from different holidays that I knew I wouldn't be using. I cut them to fit the inside of this crossbeam box, and then I glue gunned each of them in place. If you're coming back to Skip to My Life, welcome back. I love hearing what you all are up to. So don't forget to comment in the comment section below and let me know, do you have a fireplace and have you been using it on these cold winter days? Now that we've reinforced the side beams and the top beam, it's time to choose a decor for the front of our box. Now, the easiest way to do this would be to buy several rolls of contact paper, either in wood grain or a marble grain, but oh no, I couldn't do it the easy way. I had to get the peel and stick tiles. Now, I love the look of these tiles. I've worked with them before, and the price is terrific. Now it's time to place those faux tiles over our frame. Now, if you've ever worked with Carrara marble or had any kind of a faux marble surface, you know that generally the grains run a certain direction. So before you place these, you really need to decide, do you want them to go vertically or horizontally, and make sure you keep that look uniform to your piece. Now, it took me a little bit to decide exactly how I wanted to place these, but once I had the process figured out on my first side beam to our fireplace, I was able to do it pretty quickly on the second side beam. So my process was laying them down, measuring them off, and then cutting them to fit this piece. And then the way that I attached them was by using E6000 glue, which I purchased at Hobby Lobby. You can also get it at Walmart, as well as my glue gun glue. So in the middle of this process, we got a big snowstorm. So here's Bella enjoying her snow day off, and what better time to create a faux fireplace. If you haven't already, I would love to have you subscribe at Skip to My Life. We talk a lot about DIY home decor, especially on a budget, as well as small space organizing. So if that's something you love, I hope you come back. The best way to cut this peel and stick flooring is with a sharp edge. Now make sure that your X-Acto knife is very, very sharp. Score 2 or 3 times and then simply snap it in half, front ways and then back ways. It's really simple to work with. Once I had firmly glued these pieces in place, I held them to dry with some painter's tape. And once they were dry, I was able to remove that tape, and surprisingly, they adhered really well. So I gave this about 2 to 3 hours with the E6000. And just to finish these pieces off, I got my husband's help again because he has a little bit stronger arms than I do. And he helped me cut those finishing pieces off the edges of those front 2 panels. He also gave me a really good idea. We have a pair of tin snips, and if you have those, they do a great job cutting through this vinyl flooring as well. So now I am just sanding off those rough edges, and to finish the edges off, I am taking some spackle from Dollar Tree and adding some Mod Podge glue to it and mixing that up really well. And then I'm just using it like you would spackling to create the illusion that these pieces are actually cemented and spackled together. This was a really fun process. I always love working with spackling. It kind of reminds me of icing a cake. Once I had the look I was going for, I just wiped off the excess with a wet towel, and I repeated that whole process for the crossbeam on top of our fireplace. Don't forget to click on the link I'm providing to get even more high-end dupe ideas. Okay guys, so now it's just about time to put everything together and style our new fireplace mantle. I did want to show you 2 things I'm going to be doing quickly. One is to include a black foam core outline for this fireplace surround. The reason I'm doing that is because I feel like the smoky, charred look of this fireplace really detracts from the clean look I'm going for this fireplace dupe. The other thing I want to transform is this cheap tile flooring. Now we're going to cover it on the outside, so I also want to cover it on the floor. Since this is a rental property, I don't want to do anything permanent, so you'll see me sticking some faux wood to a piece of foam core that I'm just going to lay over. Now remember, if you are actually using your fireplace to make a fire, none of this is appropriate. We are only doing this for cosmetic purposes, for decor purposes. We do not use our fireplace, so none of this would be safe if you actually plan to use the fireplace. But we do not use it as a fireplace. It's just another decorative item in our space. So let's get going. Well, we got a really heavy snowstorm yesterday and today, so most people were staying inside. If that's you and you're somewhere in the country that had bad weather, I am so curious how you filled your time today, so comment below and let me know. I know that I'm going to be putting a rug over this area, so I didn't want to waste any of my laminate flooring on areas that wouldn't show. So for that reason, it looks a little bit unusual the way I'm placing this laminate flooring, but when you see it all put together in just a couple minutes, you'll understand what I'm doing. And just so you understand what my house looks like after a project like this, I wanted to keep it real with you all. Okay, so here we go. We're going to put it all together. Now, I am going to tell you that I will come back and I will mount this cross beam to the side beams permanently, but I ran out of E6000 glue and I wasn't able to go out and get any more. Now, you'll also see to the left of this cross beam on top, there's a little piece of that box still showing. Same problem. I wasn't able to go out and get more glue today because of the weather, but I was so happy with the end result. So here is the $750 mantle that we were duping, and I think that ours turned out pretty well. Comment below and let me know what you think. Just so you remember how we began, this is the fireplace we started with, and this is how we ended up. Thanks so much for coming along today. Hey, until we see each other next time, please don't forget, no matter what's going on in your world, today is not the end of your story. Keep putting one foot in front of the other. This is Shannon from Skip to My Life.